A monster producer is a legendary creature who combines multiple skill sets to dominate their market. Are you ready to dominate?
All right, folks, good afternoon today. Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. It's noon. I'm in Watercolor, Florida. I've been down here for about a week and a half now. And hey, just a little secret, I may not ever go home. I may not ever go home, okay? So I think I found a place that we love living. So we're sharing time between Tennessee and down in Watercolor. And I want to thank you for joining me today. My name is Coach Michael Burt. If you've never seen me, I have spent 28 years of my life coaching people. At 31 years old, I retired from athletic coaching to do nothing but coach business people and people who are out there trying to get some growth in their life. And one of the biggest things I saw that was a huge missing structure for people was their follow-up. And so I began to study follow-up. I began to study the purpose of the follow-up. I began to see how terrible people were with follow-up. And I began to come to a conclusion, folks, is that there are millions and millions of dollars that is lost in the follow-up. And it has a lot to do with a lot of things that we're going to talk about today. But I actually believe you can make $1 million more a year through proper follow-up if you just understand how to follow up correctly. So during this webinar today, this noon webinar, which is one of my preferred styles of coaching people, I want to bring you some tactic, and I want to bring you some strategy. 9 out of 10 people that I meet follow up incorrectly. They do not know how to get a person's attention. They do not know how to keep their attention. They do not know how to bring a deal to a close. They do not know how to follow up after they have got a person to take an action. And therefore, they lose a lot of the referrals on the back end of the equation. And so if you believe, how many of you believe that you could drastically improve with your follow-up skills? Raise your hand. How many of you believe that you're losing a large amount of money due to poor follow-up? Raise your hand. Okay. How many of you believe that you are losing a lot of referrals as a lack of disengagement with people? Okay. So we all believe the same things, which is why I wrote the book, $1 Million Follow-Up. And on June the 1st, I'm going to be doing a full day at my lodge on fanatical follow-up. It will be 6 full hours with me breaking down the science of follow-up, breaking down how to follow up, the methodology of follow-up. But more importantly, I just want you to make a lot more money as a result of follow-up. And so if you're here today and you're interested in that, we're going to be posting the link for you to join me. If you want to be in the room with me, I'm taking the first 40 to 50 people in the room that will get to be eyeball to eyeball with me with 40 other people at my 8,000 square foot lodge. Or if you want to watch it virtually, if you have teams of people, this would be incredible. It's $57. It's for 6 hours of training on follow-up, folks. It could help you make millions of dollars. So I'd encourage you to invest the money and do it. Today, we're going to go through a little sliver of that. Okay. Now, I want to broaden the scope of follow-up because many years ago, I thought that follow-up was about following up on a lead, right? A person indicated interest, Lori Smith indicated interest, her and Johnny indicated interest, and we follow up on that interest. That's kind of how I thought follow-up was. And somewhere along the way, I stepped back and I said, follow-up is bigger than just following up on a lead. There's follow-up on your dreams. There's follow-up on ideas. There's follow-up on leads. Here's a big one. There's follow-up on opportunity. Okay? And don't miss this one. Mark Kemp, there's follow-up on strategic partnership. Okay? And this is so big. Yesterday, I did a session for Paul Mitchell, and Paul Mitchell schools have 15,000 students. And over the past couple of years, I've been doing events with a guy named Tim Story. Tim Story's a celebrity life coach in California. He was on Oprah Winfrey's Super Soul Sunday. and he's kind of a comeback coach. I'm a pray drive coach and he's a comeback coach. So we went on tour together. And over the last couple of years, I've been sending him opportunities, speaking engagements, strategic partnerships. And his agent reached out to me about 2 weeks ago, just because I follow up with him. How's it going? How you doing? What's going on in your life? What's new? And so his agent reached out to me and said, hey, Tim wants you to speak to these Paul Mitchell schools. They're having a big conference and there's going to be about 400 owners and directors on there. And will you come in and speak to their schools? And I said, sure. So we worked it out for me to speak to the school. That put me in front of 400 owners and directors of these Paul Mitchell schools. And from that, they do a big conference that has 2,000 people at it. But more importantly, they have these schools all over the United States. And as a result of me following up on that strategic partnership, I got introduced to these people. Then I got an opportunity to perform. I performed. Now we're fielding calls and opportunity all over the country for me to speak at these Paul Mitchell schools. Now, I think it's kind of funny that a bald-headed dude's coaching hairdressers, but nonetheless, they got needs just like everybody else does, folks. And here's my point. Why did that opportunity happen, Doug Peacock? It happened, John Booker, because I kept following up on a strategic partnership. See, you got to broaden your mind. You got to broaden your mind, and you got to understand some things about follow-ups, right? It's not just on a lead. There's all kinds of people who can help you. You don't need more money. You need more people. The people have the money. But if you don't follow up with people, if you don't stay in people's face, if you don't engage with people, if you don't stay at the top of people's minds, then they move on to somebody else and they forget about you. And it doesn't matter how good you are. See, you think if I'm just really, really good. See, my buddy called me the other day after he saw me post this, my top real estate agent I'm coaching, and he said, man, you should do a course on how to not ever have to follow up. Bruce Weinstein, you follow me? He's like, nobody wants to follow up. You should write. I said, I did write that course. It's called Person of Interest. Because if you become such a person of interest, right? I've negotiated with billionaires. Do you know how hard it is to negotiate with a billionaire? It's incredibly hard. You know why? Because they don't care if you do it or not. They don't have to follow up with you. They are in a position of strength. They're the buyer, not the seller here. So when you become such a person of interest that you got so much demand or so much money, guess what? You don't have to follow up, folks. But as long as you're trying to build this, the reasons we have to follow up are real simple to me. I want you to write these down. These are the 4 reasons we have to follow up like crazy. Number 1, we live in an incredibly distracted world. People are distracted, which means to pull apart. Number 2, there has never been so many choices as there are today. They don't have to choose you. They can most likely find it cheaper somewhere else other than you. Number 3, we are living in the current of the urgent, meaning the only thing people have time and bandwidth to focus on is what is right in front of their face today. And number 4, people are bombarded with sales every single day of somebody trying to sell them something. So let's get clear on what the purpose of the follow-up is, because this is where most people screw up. The purpose of the follow-up, I'm going to give you 3 or 4 main purposes, and this one thing is going to make you a lot of money. The purpose of the follow-up is to, number 1, educate and enlighten a person to your solution. See, most people don't know. I followed up with a young lady yesterday who bought my book, Person of Interest. She bought my course, Person of Interest. I followed up with her and engaged in dialogue with her, only to find out she wants to speak, coach, write books. And I said, did you know that I do the Michael Burt School of Speaking, Coaching, Publishing, where I teach you how to make money with your message? She said, oh, no, I didn't know that. That's exactly what I've been looking for. See, the purpose of my follow-up is to educate her and to, listen to this word, folks, enlighten her. The word enlighten means to shine light on darkness. I'm calling you to do discovery and to enlighten you to some things of ways we can help you. Okay, that's one purpose of the follow-up. Second purpose of the follow-up is to connect and do discovery. I don't know how I can help Terry Garlow until I call her and listen to her on what she's trying to do. I may or may not be able to help her. Everybody see that? So the purpose of the follow-up is, man, I'm calling to do some discovery. Now, if a person has indicated interest in your product or service, then the purpose of the follow-up is to help a person make a decision. So I may call Nolan and say, Nolan, I've explained our value. I've told you what we do. I've told you how we do it different. I've given you some examples of people we've done it for. Purpose of this phone call is to help you make a decision about this. All right. And that word decide means to kill off. Okay. The word decision means to cut away. We're cutting away your options. Okay. The fourth purpose of the follow-up is to rekindle an initial attraction to something. I talked to you, Renee. I liked it. I was interested in it, but you lost my attention somewhere along the way. And now I'm focused on something else. Does that make sense? Now, let me give you an example. Now that we have a house in Florida, I like to box, and that's my preferred exercise. And I've been watching this certain thing called Fight Camp. And Fight Camp is where it's on a screen. You're boxing with a person. It's tracking your punches. It's tracking their calorie burn. And I told my wife, I'm watching these little commercials, and I'm like, we should get that Fight Camp. So I indicate interest. I go online and I say, hey, I'm interested in this. Okay. Guess what? Nobody ever did. Nobody ever called me. So I'm watching the videos. I'm seeing the ads. We eventually slow down long enough, and I'm like, hey, why don't you get online and order that and let them ship it to the house? Now, here's the deal. I still purchased based on the ads. Money changes hands when problems are solved. Okay, that solves a problem for me. I like boxing. I don't want to have to drive anywhere to do it. I want to do it right in my house. I want it to be very competitive. I want to burn a lot of calories. Everybody see that? How much faster do you think they could have sold me the Fight Camp if somebody would have called me when I actually indicated interest? See what I'm saying? The purpose of the follow-up was to say, hey, man, I noticed that you went to our website. I noticed that you're interested in this. We can take care of this in less than 2 minutes, coach. Which credit card would you like to put it on? What address would you like for us to ship it to? And I would have bought it. But it actually took me a lot longer to buy it because nobody followed up with me to solve the problem for me. We in our office believe this. If you like one of my posts on Facebook, you're interested. Tyke, you understand what I'm saying? If you follow me and you like me, you over and over and over, and you, right? Eric White's going to call you or Facebook message you or reach out to you and say, hey, man, I noticed you like Coach Burt's videos this morning. Have you ever considered being coached by Coach Burt? Have you ever considered, right? Have you ever considered being interested in what Coach Burt's doing? So what I spend a lot of time doing is I want to show you a formula that I do. And so we got the purpose of the follow-up. Those are the 4 purposes of the follow-up, folks. How many of you are following up incorrectly based on what I just told you? See, the purpose of the follow-up is not to check in. It's not to touch base, right, Judy? It's not to say hello. That's how people follow up. Like, I love it when people send me emails. They send me 7 emails trying to sell me something. They're not personalized. They don't know me. They've never talked to me. And then they get mad when I don't respond back to them. I'm like, I don't know you. You've never called me. You have no idea if I have a need. And you're mad at me because I'm not responding to you when I get 400 emails a day. Okay. When I call a person, I am calling to solve a problem for them, or I am calling to present an opportunity to them. Okay. For all you health coaches that follow me that are on here, this is real simple, man. If you think somebody would be a great health coach, you got to pick up the phone and call them and say, man, I'd like to present an opportunity to you. It's that simple. It ain't complicated. You don't have to make it hard. You just got to say, I see something in you. I was talking to a guy this morning who was running a nursing home, who said, I make good money, but this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm over here trying to sell insurance. I'm over here trying to do this. I'm like, man, we need to help you get clear on, you're 44 years old. We need to help you get clear on what you're supposed to be doing. Let's quit chasing money and let's start chasing purpose. And you help enough people, you'll make enough money. Okay. So let's get clear. He was wanting to jump from one job he hated to another job he hated. everybody with that? I'm like, man, 44 years old, you're asking the wrong questions. The question shouldn't be, can I make money in insurance? The question should be, what am I supposed to be doing? And if it's selling insurance, let's get you over in insurance. If it's doing this, but I need to present some opportunities for you because you don't know what you don't know right now. Okay. Now, when I follow up with him, so I sent him a link and I said, let's get you started in Monster Producer. It's $83 a month. You need coaching. He's like, all right. So I sent him the link. Then I sent a text message and say, did you get the link I sent you? When do you think you'll have an opportunity to look at it? Okay. Now, if he don't take action on that link by tomorrow, I'll send him a video. Hey, this is Coach Burt. I noticed you haven't taken action on that. Maybe I need to do a better job of explaining it because yesterday you told me you need to coach. You're trying to figure this out. This is the best plan I think to put you in. What would prohibit you from doing it today? Because here's the deal. I called him, had a good time, had a good connection. He wanted to do it. I sent him the link. Now what's going to happen? Pam Williams, what's going to happen now? You can talk.
Well, now he might respond.
He might.
Now he might, follow up with you. He might.
He might, or he might go to that nursing home and run that nursing home and get all distracted and busy. Right. And here's the deal. Then he forgets about the link. Then he goes home tonight and he's got 4 kids. Then he gets up, goes to work tomorrow. Right. And then everybody see that? Then the next thing you know, goes 3 days and he doesn't do it. What's the purpose of my follow-up? Rekindle the initial attraction. Hey, remember when we talked on Thursday? Remember how you told me you want to transition to something? Right? Remember how you told me you want to get started with me? Well, I noticed you haven't taken action yet. Either I did a poor job of explaining it or you're not that serious about it. Now, which one is it? Okay. And he may say, no, you did a great job. I just got what? Here's the number one word. I hate this word. I just got busy. I just got distracted, coach. So the purpose of my follow-up is to help him make a decision. He's already indicated interest. He's already interested, but I know human nature. And human nature is he's going to go to that nursing home today and he's going to get distracted, man. And he's going to go home tonight and he's going to get distracted. And he's going to get up and go to work tomorrow. He's going to get distracted. And the word distract means to pull apart. It means to pull something apart. My job is to stay in his face and help him make a decision. So I want you to write down this formula that I use. Number one, when I make outbound calls, I initiate a call and I initiate a call. Hey, Jeremy, this is Coach Burt. And I typically disarm. Where are you in the world? Oh, I'm here. Oh, great. And I find some connection point. After I connect to a person, I then locate a problem. And let me tell you how I locate problems, folks. It's the easiest question in the world. I ask them a simple question. What are you trying to do? Tell me what's going on with you and tell me what you're trying to do. And people just open up and tell me. And they say, well, I'm trying to do this, or I'm trying to do this, or I'm trying to do this. And I listen. I'm doing discovery. Money changes hands when problems are solved. So I'm listening. And I say, okay, based on what you've told me, then I use the A to B. You're at A. A is your current position. B is your desired outcome. And here's my recommendations to move you toward B. Right? And I just start moving him toward B. Now, then I always, listen, I offer a compelling solution. And then I always push people to something in the future. Everybody see that? And that something in the future is always an action, typically. So Josh Richards, what I said to him was I said, I'm going to send you a link. As soon as you get started, my team is going to get you up and get you going. Because what I want to do is keep him in a forward position. Everybody see that? Now, when I send him the link, I'm going to go back to him with the video, probably as soon as I get done with this and say, hey, man, I really enjoyed spending time with you this morning. But Grover, I can't help you till you commit, man. And once you commit, I'm not going to let you fail. This is what I've been doing for 28 years, is I help people just like you move from A to B. I'm doing it for over 1,000 people right now in my coaching programs. Everybody see that? I'm pushing people to something in the future. How many times have you had a phone conversation with somebody and it never went to anything else? It's like a good phone conversation. Jane, you ever had a good conversation with somebody and then it never went to somewhere? right? Holly Perry, you know what I'm talking about? We have good conversations with people, folks. There's a difference between having a good, I hear people all the time, man, I had a good connection with that person. I had a good conversation with that person. Well, let me tell you something, folks. Good conversations don't pay the bills. Okay. Go down to the grocery store and tell them you want to pay with a good conversation. All right. Go to the gas station. Say, you know what? Just like to pay with a good conversation. Folks, I can have good, I know some people have good conversations with people all day long, but they never convert. Conversion is taking a good conversation to an action. Hey, this is a great conversation, man. I know we got good chemistry. Let me push you to something in the future. Now, if Mark Kemp is on there or Lynn Lewis is on there with me and they're not ready to buy right now, and you should know this, you should feel this, like they're not ready to buy, then push them to something in the future that keeps them in a forward position. Hey, I'm going to be doing a webinar at noon today on follow-up. Hey, I'm going to be doing this. Hey, if you want to taste to see what my program is like, I'll let you sit in on one course or one Monday call with me, right? Like let them taste the ice cream and push to something in the future. Constantly push to something, because this is where we lose momentum, folks. Momentum is just energy, and energy is how you close people, right? It's like, it seems like you want to do this, man. You're excited about doing it. When you and I talked about it, you're ready to go, but you got distracted. The purpose of my phone call today is to help you make a decision.
Stated that.
Okay, everybody
What?
see that? It's to help you make a decision. Okay, now, when you're thinking about these things, and this is so critical, there's two problems in the follow-up. Okay, and I want to put these things into, there's actually more than two. Number one, some of you do not have a place to store all of the information you have on follow-up. Okay, some of you do not have a place to store. You don't have a customer relationship management system. Does that make sense? So if you go out there and you generate 1,000 leads, where do they go? Where do you find them at? Who are you calling? So one problem is you go out and you generate interest, but you got no clear data management system. Okay. And if that's your problem, email Kara at coachburt.com. Kara, she's on here with us. Kara Palmer. If you say, man, I don't have a good customer relationship management system, email Kara at coachburt.com and she can talk to you about the system that I'm using. Okay. Number two problem is you don't understand the purpose of the follow-up. So you're following up all the wrong way. We're going to call that a methodology problem. And number three, you don't go the distance in the follow-up. And the statistics tell me 7 to 15 touches 80% of the time. Okay. Now, if I had to put number four, and I'm giving y'all some new stuff that I haven't talked about, I'm adding more to this as I teach it. The number four problem is you get your feelings hurt too easily. When people don't respond to you, you get your feelings hurt and you take it personal. And that is not a way to follow up, folks. They could be distracted. They could be busy. I was following up with a person in Houston, Texas. That's a huge advocate of mine. He loves me and I love him. And I couldn't get in touch with him. And finally, I was like, what is wrong, man? What is going on? And the dude was 74 years old. He had a stroke and he wasn't following up with me because he had a stroke. What if I'd have taken that personal? See, here's the deal. It's just a life situation. So his business partner called me and said, man, he loves you. He wants to do more things with you, but he had a stroke. He's trying to get it back together. As soon as we get everything back together, we're going to re-engage with you. But I was like, you know, it's so easy to take it personal when you don't know what is going on the other side. You don't know what's going on in their life. So don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. Now, when you start putting these things into categories, I want you to put them into these categories. Okay. Every day when I wake up, when it comes to the follow-up, I want to broaden our scope again. Number one, remember what I said. There's not only follow-up on leads. So I want to put these into some buckets for you. Number one, we've got what we call a farm club. And the farm club represents anybody who has ever indicated real interest in your product or service. Okay, not fake interest, real interest. Okay. There's a subset of the farm club that I particularly like, and this is kind of where I focus my attention every day, is on what I call the red zone. And the red zone is a small subset of people who are very close to making a decision. And this is really where you should focus your time first thing in the morning, man, is we need to move these people down the field. The third group of people I focus on are what's called my top 25. These are 25 deep and meaningful relationships. The Tim Story relationship just got me in front of 400 more people. And you don't need more money, you need more people. Okay? But there's 15,000 of those students. So if I can strike a deal with the whole place, now I'm in front of 15,000 people, folks. That's a much bigger deal. So my top 25 represents key influencers, strategic partners. Okay, for all the insurance people on here, I'm building relationships with the top people at Symmetry. I'm building relationships with the top people of Optavia. I'm building relationships with the top people at Paul Mitchell schools. I'm building relationships with, I'm working with Brad Lee on doing more things because he's really hot right now. I'm about to speak at an event in New York City with Cardone, Grover, and Brad Lee, which is going to put me in front of 2,000 more people. Like what I do every day is I wake up and I work with influencers. Okay. And I go to these people and I build relationship with them. And what they say is, hey, I want to introduce you to my audience, coach. And I got 6 million followers. And the next thing you know, I'm doing a partnership deal with somebody in front of 6 million people. Everybody see that? You don't need more money. You need more people. Okay. So what I do is I wake up and I go, okay, who can I help today? And how can they help me? And every morning I'm following up with those people. And then when I see people that I really like, I'm like, okay, I want to do business with that person. And I'm following up. So my third group I'm following up with are my top 25. You may not start with 25. You may start with 5. So if you had to write down 5 influencers, 5 people who had access to lots of people, okay, who are those 5 people who can connect you to more people? Okay. Now, the fourth thing I'm doing to get in front of large numbers of people, and this is a lot of follow-up, folks, and we're probably going to start a business line that teaches people how to do this, Kara, at some point, is I am constantly planning something in the future to push people to. Webinars, events. This gets me in front of more people. Now, I want to teach you about the concept of optimization. Optimization looks like this. I'm coaching an auctioneer, and we had a lot of success with him. His name is Jay Cash. Jay Cash got involved with our health division, lost 30 pounds. We've now got him as one of our health coaches. He's also tied into the National Auctioneers Association. And I follow up with him and I say, Jay, how many auctioneers are there in the country? And he said, man, there's thousands. I said, where do they all go? Well, they all are part of this National Auctioneers Association. Who do we need to know at the National Auctioneers Association to get in front of a lot of those people? And he said, oh, we need to know this person. Let me introduce you to them. This is optimization. Jay takes me to the president. The president decides for me to come in and to build a coaching program. The coaching program puts me in front of X number of auctioneers. X number of auctioneers then get involved in my coaching program. Now, the next thing you know, I got a new association. I got new people. And you don't need more money. You need more what? People. Now, once those people get into the cycle and they like it and they're helping, Eric White could call every single one of them and say, hey, are you married? Have you considered coming to Coach's couples retreat? Do you have a marketing problem? Do you have a CRM problem we can help you with? Would you like to write a book? Would you like to do this? See, you think, where's all the people at? How do I find more people? I think there's so many people, we can't even get to all of them. Here's what my buddy said earlier today. My buddy texted me, who lives down here, and you guys will love what he said. We were talking about the housing market down here in Florida. Prices is up 37%. Okay. I bought a new house in Florida, and the agent told me that I could turn around and sell that house for $800,000 more within an hour of me buying it. Everybody hear that? That's how crazy the market is down here. I could buy it. So I went to my wife and I'm like, how much do you love this house? Hey, I know we just bought it, but how much do you love it? So that one got me in the doghouse, folks. Now, here's my point. For 800 grand, I could build a doghouse out back to stay in for a week or two. Now, here's my point. This is what my buddy said today, who lives down here. I said, man, what if I put a greatness factory down here in watercolor? And he said, I'll probably build and sell a couple more houses and move. It's becoming crowded with tourists. And I told him I could make 800,000 off selling my house. He said, yeah, it's got nuts. Builder told me he wants to build a spec house on my lot for 7 million. Then he says something real interesting. He said, money is almost worthless because everybody has it. Isn't that interesting? Money is just a commodity. It's everywhere. Yes or no? It's everywhere. It's just a commodity. When you think it's hard to get to, it's so hard, I can't find it. No, it's everywhere. You just have to figure out how to follow up with people and solve a problem for them. And that's really the problem, is they're not giving you the money because you're not solving a problem for them. Okay? So if I put you in front of 1,000 people tonight and I said, man, I'm doing a webinar and I'm bringing you on board to get in front of these 1,000 people. How much could those 1,000 people be worth to you if you just knew how to follow up correctly? What's the purpose of getting in front of 1,000 people if you don't follow up with them? If you don't solve a problem for them, if you don't find 25 who's got the money? Do you think out of 1,000 people, 25 of them's got a bunch of money? Of course they do, folks. So my point is, the way you look at it is all wrong. The way you see this problem is the problem. You wake up and see it as hard. I wake up and I say, man, it ain't as hard as we think it is. We just need to be following up with people. Now, I'm going to give you 5 types of salespeople. And I want you thinking about which one you are. And I'm going to show you which one is actually the best at following up and the best at bringing a person to a decision. Number 1 is what's called a relationship builder. And a relationship builder has a strong desire to be liked. They spend a lot of time supplicating to the customer, to the buyer. They think because the buyer has the money, they have to just let them be in total control. Okay? How many of you were raised to be relationship builders in selling? And you were taught, be a great relationship builder, be a great relationship builder. What if I told you that the statistics tell me only 7 to 11% of the top salespeople are actually relationship builders? Only 7 to 11%. You know why? Relationship builders get stuck in the friend zone. And when you're in the friend zone, you know how easy it is to tell a friend no? Well, no, I can't come over. Well, no, I can't do it. Well, no, I can't do it. I try to teach my people, be friendly, but don't be their friend. I got a bunch of high eyes on my sales team. Where's Mike Dole at? Is he on here? Mark Schaefer, high eyes. They're friendly. They're friendly. They're friendly. They talk to you all day long. I'm like, hey, when are you going to ask them for a sale? Okay. Conversations don't pay the bills, folks. Conversions do. So a problem with relationship builders is you like talking and socializing and talking, and you explain it and you explain it again, and you meet about it and you go to coffee about it and you come up to go to dinner about it, but you never ever say, hey man, when are we going to do some business with each other? Because these conversations don't pay the bills. Okay. So the problem with relationship builders is they're scared to ask for the business, because God forbid there be any tension between them and the buyer. If a buyer doesn't like what you're saying, they'll say, look, I need you to back up a little bit. You put too much pressure on me. Everybody hear that? And if they do say it, so what? It's not the end of the world. You just say, okay, man, I'm just blame it on passion and conviction. Man, I'm just passionate about what I'm doing. I didn't mean to be aggressive with you. I just got a lot of conviction. So the relationship builder is actually a myth. And this is how a lot of people are taught. I live in the South. We're taught to be sweet, nice, friendly. And then I went up to New Jersey and coached people for a month, and they were not sweet and not nice and not friendly. Just joking. They were direct, and I loved it, man. I'm like, I like some of this. I want to be more direct. So are you a relationship builder? The salesperson is what's called a lone wolf. And the lone wolf is good. The lone wolf is good. But they're not good team players. So if you got a lone wolf on your team, man, they're all over the place. They stick to themselves a lot. They're not good team players, but they do figure out a way to sell something. Number 3 is what's called the hard worker. The hard worker is a salesperson that if you say make 80 phone calls a day, he or she will make 80 a day, but they don't sell anything. They just work hard. So they put the effort in, but they don't show the results. Okay. Number 4 is what's called the reactive problem solver. This is a person that is really good at solving a problem when there's a problem to solve, but they're very reactive. And I hate being reactive. I like playing offense versus defense. I like creating opportunity. Now, here's what's interesting. This is from a book called The Challenger Sale. 40% of all top salespeople are what's called challengers. And a challenger is a person that actually will push back on a person when they follow up. And it would look like this. Ursula, we've talked about this. You know I love you. You know I want to help you, but I cannot help you until you commit to something and make a decision. Now, here's what a challenger would say. You guys have probably heard me say this before. We can have this talk today, or we can have it 6 months from today, and nothing's going to change. Okay? Everybody see that? This guy I was talking to today, I said, look, you're 44 years old. This is the challenger in me. You're 44. I don't want you to wake up at 54 and have wasted 10 years of your life doing the wrong thing. So if you're not supposed to be selling insurance, we don't need to move you over selling insurance just to make money. Everybody see that? What I did is I'm challenging him to think. I'm challenging him. The purpose of my follow-up and my conversations is to challenge you to think. I want him to get off that phone and go, you know what? He's right. I need to take action. I need to do something. I need to move forward. Okay? Now, why would the relationship builder not do that? How many of you raise your hand if you're a relationship builder? See, here's a problem. Your desire to be liked is greater than your desire. Here's the deal. Here's what I tell you, man. I don't care if they like it or don't like it. That ain't my purpose in their life. My purpose in their life is to move them from A to B. Everybody hear that? I even tell people, I'm not here to satisfy you. When I speak, people say, oh, we really liked it. I'm like, well, did you take action from it? Because if you didn't take action from it, I don't care how much you liked it. Okay? I'm not here to satisfy you from that perspective. I am here to move you from A to B. Okay? The insurance salesman is there to help a person protect and mitigate risk. So if anything ever happens, they're insured. You can't do that until they take action. The health coach can't help a person get healthy until they take action. Right? The salesman can't help a person. You got to get out of your mind that I'm selling you something and get into your mind that I'm helping you take an action, which is to your benefit. There is a money exchange here for my value to solve your problem, but I can't help you until you commit to that, until you move forward. And I can't tell you how many people text me during the day and say they want to do something during the day. And I'm like, here's what I hear right here, folks, right here. Here's what I hear. I need you to take an action. Okay. Now, Mike Dole was with me the other day, and this is so crazy. If my team's on here, I want y'all to hear this. I was in Texas doing an event with David Perez, which is one of our monster tycoons. And we had a private lunch after I spoke to his group, insurance group. And I've been wanting to start a capital fund for years, which means I raise capital. We go purchase things. We either buy real estate or we see opportunity and we purchase that. And there's so many people said, oh, I'll do this if you'll pay me this much money. Oh, I'll do it. Well, here's what you need. And I get an email from David Perez, and it said, here you go. I've opened up your Monster Capital. I've opened up your Monster Capital LLC. It's ready. I've gone through the paperwork. I've done the filings. Now all you got to do is go raise money, coach. I've already taken. Now, listen to what he did. I said in Texas when I'm having lunch, man, I wish everybody would just quit talking about how to do this and what they're going to do and how it's going to work and how complicated it is. And I said, man, I wish I could just find a person that would just take action and help me do it. And shoot, within 3 days, he sent me a text and he said, it's done. My legal team got on it. My group got on it. Hey, I got to file one more thing for you, and then you can go out and raise capital tomorrow. It's done, coach. That's his follow-up. He listened and he took action. He listened and he took action. That's what the world needs, folks. And so I called him and I said, how's it going to work? Well, this is how it works, blah, blah, blah. So for you, how many of you are following up with people and just talking and talking and talking and talking, and there's never an end? The purpose of the follow-up is to what? Bring something to an end. Bring something to a close. Okay. Now, let's finish this with the 2 types of follow-ups. And this is where it gets really, really, really good. There are 2 types. So now how many people are going to go 7 to 15 touches? Raise your hand. How many people are going to change the way they follow up as a result of today's course? Okay. Never again follow up and say, I'm just checking in. I'm just touching base. Never again. All right. There are 2 types of follow-ups. There is what's called a linear follow-up, which is exactly what it says. It is direct. It's direct. Kara, I'm calling you. And on this phone call, we're going to make a decision. And that word decide means to kill off. Right? That's the whole purpose of me calling you right now, is I'm going to help you make a decision. We've talked about it. We've flirted about it. We've goofed off about it. We went around circles on it. Look, we're making a decision today. Either you're in or out. Okay? That's a linear touch. So I may say, Valerie, have you seen enough to make a decision? I may say, Hunter, it seems like you want to do this, but there's one thing that's keeping you from moving forward with me. Am I right about that? And I just name it. And I force them to tell me that I'm not right. Grover, man, we talked about this 7 times. The purpose of the phone call day is to help you make a decision, man. I can't help you till you commit. Okay. Darius, I'm calling you. Have you seen enough to make a decision? Seems like you want to do this. Is there anything prohibiting you from doing it today? Jamie, if I send the contract over to you today, will you sign it? Everybody see that? That's a linear touch, folks. It's direct. Michael, I'm in if you're in. Let's go. Okay, we talked about it. Okay, that's linear. Now, let me show you a nonlinear touch. So for every linear, every direct touch I have 3 nonlinear. Okay, Alexis, so let me show you what a nonlinear is. Alexis, I've been working on a strategy for you that I would use with you. I've used this with 7 other people. I'm going to text it to you for you to look at. Look at the strategy I'm sending you, and I'll call you back tomorrow. That's a nonlinear, non-aggressive follow-up. Does everybody see that? Okay, I'm not just touching base with Alexis. Alexis, I've taken time. I sat down last night. I drew up a strategy for you. This is what I would do when you take action. And too many people don't do this. So let's go back to my guy who wants to do something with me. What I would do now, a good follow-up for him could be, man, I've taken some time. I did a webinar at noon. That made me think specifically about you. The reason I would put you in Monster Producer is because you need to expand your think. We need to help you find a better vehicle for you. And that's going to be when you get around big time people. Okay. Is there anything that would keep you from doing this? Okay. That's a nonlinear touch. Okay. Let me give you another one. Scotty, I'm working with a lot of people that do exactly what you do. I'm getting about a 30 or 40% increase in the top people that are doing it. Let me tell you the number one thing they've latched onto, which is my conversion and follow-up, my conversion and closing. So I'm going to send you my 7 top closes on video, Scotty, for you to watch. Okay. And then I want you to consider coming to my fanatical follow-up day to get better at this. See that? That's a nonlinear. Okay. Denise, this is one thing I'm doing. Okay. I know you got your book out, and a book is an asset, but several people write books and then they struggle to turn those books into millions of dollars. This is the best thing I'm doing with my book, Person of Interest, right now to generate 300 leads. This is the best thing I'm doing with my book funnels. This is the best thing I'm doing right here. If I could help you take your book and generate 3,000 leads in 90 days, Denise, would you be interested in knowing about it? Everybody see that? Okay. So see how I'm following up, and And this is why people are so lazy. They don't do all this stuff, man. They just want to text people and call. They don't understand the power of, I want to give Denise value. And if I give her enough value, she will want to do more with me. Okay. Yesterday, when I spoke at that Paul Mitchell group, man, I just wanted to coach for 50 minutes. And after I coached, then we had all these people that want me to come speak to their schools. This is the way of the world, man. Just give value. And the more value you give, it really solves problems. There will be people go, I'm interested. Okay. So also, I don't know, Denise, I am serious about that. You need to see Kara and look at what I'm doing on my person of interest book right now. I'm running these book funnels that are generating 300 and 400 leads at a time. And then we're converting those into monster producers. So you need to know how to do that. So Kara, get with Denise and show her what we're doing there. Okay. Now, for every linear is direct, boom, direct. Depending on where you live in the world, okay, for every linear, I do 3 nonlinear. Okay. And I create a lot of assets, videos, podcast, coaching series, YouTube videos. And I use those assets like crazy in my follow-up. Okay. So notice what I just said. Hey, I'm going to send you my top 7 closes. That was a webinar I did. We filmed the webinar, but is that value for people? Yes or no? Yeah. So I'm going to send you my top 7 closes I did in a webinar. Okay. That's a nonlinear touch. Okay. So it's like boxing. Think of sweet science, folks. It's like boom, 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 hook, boom, 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 ask. So I jab, 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 hook in my follow-up. And I just keep going. Now, I'll finish with this. When I get to number 7, touch number 7, I ask a very direct question. I say, Melissa, have you noticed how hard I've worked to earn your business? Has anybody else on planet Earth worked this hard? And they typically say, no, they haven't. And I say, look, notice the words I'm about to use, folks. It seems like you want to do this. It sounds like what I propose is perfect for you. Okay. It feels like we need to be moving forward. But it seems like you're stuck on one thing. Am I right about that? And I force them to tell me. And I may say, look, I love you. I want to help you. But man, I just can't keep spending time following up with you to try to get you to take action. So now the ball is in your court. We were trying to get all of the sound going at our new house, and there's an AV guy we got. My wife called him, and I called him, and he didn't answer. So I sent him a video, and I said, man, you've been recommended to us to handle all the sound, but it seems like you're either too busy to call me back, or you're just not interested in our business. So I'm sure there's some other AV people down here in Florida that I could call. So I'm going to go ahead and call them. Okay. For 1 week, we tried to get in touch with the guy, and that one video, guess what happened within 30 seconds? That within 30 seconds, he called. Because what did I do? I took it away from him. I said, look, man, seems like you're too busy. Seems like you're not interested because we can't get you to call us back. I'm sure there's other people down here who could handle this. And all of a sudden, his phone works. Now, this is what I do with people on touch number 7. I'm like, man, I'm trying to help you. I have worked so hard to get your business. I'm working harder than you are at this. But it seems like you just, either I'm not hitting it right or you're not interested. So you know what? I'm going to put the ball back in your court and move on. If you want to do something with me, you reach out to me. And I do that typically on touch number 7. Everybody with me? Okay. Now, what we covered today is a very small sliver of what I'm going to cover on June 1st. And I did this before. I had 500 people on my first time I did this. And so I said, let's do it again. So on June 1st, I'm going to be doing a full day at my lodge in Tennessee. We're going to live stream this around the world. If you have teams of people and you think you guys struggle in follow-up, the insurance industry struggles in follow-up, all the coaches I coach struggle in follow-up, a lot of people struggle, then there's a whole day of me breaking this down. It's only $57. And trust me, if you don't get your $57 back, folks, I will refund your money that day. Okay. But you should be able to close at least 5 or 10 more deals as a result a month. of me teaching you how to follow up correctly. So it's June 1st. Today was a little piece of what I'm going to cover. I'll go hold the whole thing. I'll teach you technique before, during, and after. Because in today's world, how many of you struggle with getting a person's attention, even to get them on the phone? Right? That's a big problem. So I'm going to spend a whole section that day on how I get people on the phone. How do I get power players on the phone? How do I get influential people on the phone? How do I get wealthy people on the phone? How do I get the true economic buyer on the phone? That day, I'll be teaching you, how do I get their attention? How do I keep it? How do I close? I'll be teaching my top 7 closes. And how do I engage with people after we have sold them something? Because that's where really the money, it's not the referrals, it's the referrals from the referrals that makes a bunch of money. Okay. So this has been a good day. All right. Between now, Pam Williams, to get people on the phone, but now and then, you got to determine your value. You got to determine an X value that would interest them. Okay. A guy called me last night, 7 o'clock. I was out walking my kid, and he left me a voicemail, and he said, I want to talk to you about a few things, but I also want to send 6 people to one of your boot camps. Can you call me back? Guess what? I said, whoop, told my kid, it's 10 months old. I said, I need to make a phone call, kid. So I called him back. You know why? Because look at how the dude got my attention. Hey, I'm trying to give you some money. I'm trying to give you something. Call me back so we can do the transaction. When you call a person, you got to bring something to the equation, an idea, a strategy, an energy. I text Brad Lee this morning. He's over in the Virgin Islands. I said, man, I got 2 ideas on some things we can do together in Vegas. Call me back. And he immediately got back to me. So here's my deal. What I do when I call a person is I bring an idea or a tactic or a strategy that they believe can help them make money. Okay. I'm not calling to sell you something. I'm calling to bring you something. That's one of my number 1 techniques to get a person on the phone. Everybody see that? I'm a Covey disciple. Think win-win, man. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Don't call to sell people things. Call to connect with people, to bring them something. Sometimes I bring them a compliment. Sometimes I bring them an idea. Sometimes I bring them a strategy. So I'd love to see a bunch of you guys sign up for my June 1st. Get your team on it, man. If you got teams of people, that's where the real money is, folks, is getting your whole team to learn how to follow up correctly. And so everybody, I'm trying to teach. I took Mike Dole. I think he's on here. Mike Dole is my videographer. I've turned him into a freaking stone cold killing machine. He's following up with people all day, all night. I'm just teaching him how to follow up and close deals. And the guy's never sold anything in his life, but he's selling something. They put together a $47,000 deal last week. And you know what? He's like, man, I'm addicted to this. This is incredible. I'm like, that's right, man. Now you go learn how to make some money. So I'm proud of him for doing that. All right. In my follow-ups, what do you manually call and what do you do through drip marketing? I actually believe, man, we use our CRM system can phone call, drip, campaign. I do all that. But I can't tell you how many people thank me for personally calling them. I can't tell you how many people say, man, thank you for calling me. I can't believe you took time out of your schedule to call me. So many people just drip and they think that's follow-up. Okay. Now let me ask you a question. Jeremy Chandler, where do you live in the world?
I'm in Martin, Tennessee.
All right. So if I came to Martin, if I called, if you saw a drip campaign that said I was coming to Martin, Tennessee, you may come because you're in my coaching programs and you know you're buying in. But let's just pretend I was coming to Martin, Tennessee, and all you got was a drip email. You may or may not come. If you got a call from my team members, you may or may not come. If you saw in the newspaper or online that I was coming to Martin, Tennessee, you may or may not come. What if I personally called you and said, Jeremy, I'm coming to Martin, Tennessee, man, and it's going to be a big night, and I really can't do it without you, right? Would you come and support me that night? What would that improve the likelihood you'd come? Yes or no?
Oh yeah, big difference.
Okay, now that's how I want y'all to think about drip campaigns.
Because you get emails all the time.
You get emails, you get text messages. To personally call a person and be involved in their life is so much better. And so this is why I want to get y'all thinking automation is good. There's a purpose for automation. I use automation like crazy to reach large numbers of people. I like video. I video text message people for the energy and the eyeballs. Remember that. They see my eyeballs and they can feel my energy when I video text. Okay. So if you call me, sometimes I'll video text you back so you can see my eyeballs and you can hear my energy. All right. Okay. So just remember, you can make $1 million a year in follow-up easy if you just broaden the scope of follow-up and start doing it correctly. Okay. All right. When you video text, I got time for one more. When you video text, is that by using your camera? Yes, it is. I video text by using my camera on my phone. And I use that just as much as I do anything. Okay. All right, folks, this has been an incredible webinar. It reminds me, I got to get out here and follow up with some folks. I'm going to try to make $1 million today. Forget a year. We're going to see if we can make $1 million this afternoon. Okay. Thank you guys for being so coachable. Really share this with your teams. Share you got teams of people June 1st. That will help them make a lot of money. It'll help you make a lot of money. Okay. And it's only $57. So that's my way of giving back to the follow-up world. All right. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thanks for joining me today. Over 100 people joined us. God bless you guys.